Hello, good evening. Welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. This is another time, another day, another evening, and I want to share with you tips for women entrepreneurs, women who are in business. They say entrepreneurship is difficult, it's tough, and it's what is another English word? It's also exciting, and they say I'm not one. They say being a woman is also not. It's not that simple. It's also that difficult. From societal pressure to cultural misunderstanding and misconceptions, and all other things that they place, the pressure that they place on women. So, some tips that I think will be beneficial to women who are in business, who are thinking of entrepreneurship, who are entrepreneurs themselves, because there are so many things that both being a woman and being an entrepreneur, there are so many things that they have got to overcome. And I think that some few things may be helpful to women who happen to be in business. But it's the same. Some of them may apply to men. Some of them may apply to people who are daring, who are ambitious, who want to do something on their own. Because I think that where the world is going and where the future is, tilting towards, it is that much imperative that people are equipped and informed with what they can do on their own, so far as livelihood and life itself is concerned. So, if you're a woman and you're into entrepreneurship, a woman can be in any business. It can be agriculture, it can be IT, it can be engineering, it can be retail, it can be manufacturing. Any business at all, women can be in them. It's a business. Anything that they say men can be involved in, women can be involved in as well. But I think the kind of condition or conditioning that we have given to women sometimes they don't help in terms of the kind of businesses that they get to undertake. If you look at the world's richest people and you factor them, even in any country at all, you see that the men are in the majority. May they the people, the sociologists or the people who do the statistics may give us proper reasons. But if you're a young woman and you're thinking of entrepreneurship, I think some of these things will help you, because you should understand the journey. That the journey of business is not smooth, it's not straight. There will be a lot of things that you have to endure and overcome. And so you cannot just go into business thinking that you cannot think like soft. You cannot think like the way you want, the way they have conditioned the women. A business that's not business is neutral. If you decide to start that business, it's neutral. Yes, you may be a woman, but the difficulties that will come, those people or those difficulties, they don't segregate. They don't care whether you're a woman or you are another, you know, whether you're a man or a woman. So you have to resolve that entrepreneurship is tough. So you must have yes, you still have to be feminine if you want to, but you still have to be that much. You have to be ready to overcome the hindrances that this terrain will bring, the challenges, the difficulties that this terrain will bring you. You have to just root for that. It is business, and it does not really register that you see, I'm a woman, so I've started a construction business. I'm a woman, so I've started a manufacturing business. Once you start the business does not care whether you're a woman, whether you're a man. The challenges that people go through with business will come to you as a start. So be ready for those challenges, and don't just go there as if just a woman, like the way we have trained or the way we have conditioned and cultured women. Majority of them, like the way the culture, if a woman is tough, if a woman is ambitious, if a woman is aggressive, we are set back. Most people are not used to a woman who is aggressive, who wants to take charge. It's not only in our culture, it's almost everywhere. Who are, so you have to be that tactful, but you cannot be soft and weak in terms of challenges and difficulties just because you think that you are a woman. You may be somebody's mother, you may be somebody's wife, you may be somebody's daughter, and those are okay, but you want to start a business. And so be resolved that this business that you have started, a lot of things will come. And you just have to be ready for that. You have to equip yourself with a lot of knowledge. Whatever it takes to run a business, you have to equip yourself. We are not. If you go to the marketplaces, you see a lot of our mothers, a lot of our father, our sisters, our in-laws. They are there. A lot of them, they sell tomato. They sell amane, okra, all those kind of things. You go to the market, there are a lot of women there. They're entrepreneurial, but very few are able to structure beyond that because it takes a lot for you to build a business beyond yourself. And business must be built with structure, with systems, and you must understand that. So if you're a young woman, you have started something, don't just look at just doing that, but you also want to have the required knowledge. You want to expose yourself to certain people, certain network, people who have gone before you, people who have done it, people who are learning it. Some of them may be women, some of them may be men. The one thing about being a woman is that when you approach a man, there's always that threat. Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in, but you still cannot stay in your little world if you want to build a business. You have to just explore, and you have to get open to say that I want to do the business. I want to build it beyond just sewing. I want to build it, maybe into an industry, whatever business that you're doing. You want to do it beyond yourself, which means that you want to commit to getting the right information, the right skill to building a business. Most women can, one way or the other, have certain skills that can easily build a product or build a service, and that the service can also become a business. Most women know how to bake bread, they know how to cook. Most women can sew clothes. There are a lot of things that women can do. But for you to build it into a business, there are things that you must know. And a business is a structure. So you must at least look at that. You cannot just rest or retire on complaints and excuses. It is business. So nobody will accept excuses and complaints just because you're a woman. You don't have to expect favors because just you're a woman. It's business that you're building. There are financial risk implications and there are financial rewards involved. So if you don't attack it from this position and you want to complain and say that, oh, they are not listening to me because I'm a woman, they are against me because I'm a woman, those may be the reality, but unfortunately nobody wants to listen to that. It's painful, it's bitter, and very few people may have even the heart to feel that. But if you're a woman and you're an entrepreneur, you cannot be complaining. If you don't like the situation, you just have to do something about it. And unfortunately, that's how it is anyway. So family could be a challenge to your dream. Sometimes if you have children, or if you happen to have a husband or something like that, those could also be hindrances. Sometimes they could be an advantage, but I think most often than not, women who are into businesses, because it requires a lot of attention, it requires a lot of what is it, sacrifices. It requires a lot of time, money involved. Uh, if the people involved, the immediate family, are not people equipped to understand the journey that you have taken, you may have to equip yourself more, because your desire will still be to see a family and to see children and things like that. At the same time, once you want to build a business, that becomes another child that will need constant attention. So you have to at least look at the family and look at how you can position well to let the family be an advantage, not a driving force. Because if the family is opposite to the business that you're building, if the family is opposite to that dream that you want to build as a businesswoman, it will take a lot of pain, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of stress. You can see some, people in that kind of category. That's why sometimes you see very ambitious women, and unfortunately, they have to be, almost like what they call feminists, or they have to be single, things like that, because it takes a lot for you to build a dream. It is risk taking. Business is about risk, and usually women don't like losing. So, so it is tough, it is difficult, but there'll be losses in business. So you have to just think about that as well, and not take the losses so much personally. You take them so much to the heart, because you don't want to lose a penny, you don't want to lose a pesewa, and you don't want to be taken for granted. The moment you say that you want to build a business, you have really exposed yourself to being taken, for granted for a lot of the times, and being at least cheated and lied to, because it's a risky terrain that you have entered. There are gains, but a lot of the times there are losses. Also, you have to, the emotions must be controlled. The emotions must be taken care of, because it is business, and there's risk involved. There is risk involved. You have to look at building a team for the business. If you want to grow the business and keep employing people, at least you don't just want to say go to the market, sell it on the table. You may have started like that, but at a point you want to build it into a business. You should know that you're going to need to build a team. So your team building skill is very important. I don't think that you should spend your life building a business and the only person that you employ is yourself. It comes to a point you want to develop that skill to build a team, and for the team to push the vision. And you have to provide that leadership. And it's a business when at least people are involved, and no business grows with one employee. There are people who will come and join. And what it takes for any person to build any business beyond themselves is the ability to lead people and to keep their emotions and inspire and provide the leadership. And it takes a lot beyond just self indulgence. So develop beyond yourself. You need good leadership skills, good managerial skills. If it's entrepreneurship, if it's business that you're thinking of. And the thing about it is that any idea that is allowed in any country, any economy, can be built into some form of business. And so a lot of women are already engaged in some kind of commercial activity. The problem is how they are able to grow from there to building a business. Some people may be just making cake for their friends. Can you build a business around that cake? The skill that it will take you to build that cake business will not be the same skill that is making you to make the cake. There's a big difference. So making a cake, you just go and buy those things that they are used to make a cake. Building a business, you will need the drive, you will need the thinking, you will need the planning, you need the ability to come out with that product and push it to the market that needs the product. You need an infrastructure, you need a team, you need financial discipline, you need endurance to overcome the difficulties, you need the ability to take the risk. And that is what entrepreneurship is about. So yes, you're a woman, but these things will happen, and they are neutral to whether you're a woman or you're not a woman. So look at that. Think big and think expansion, think growth, think development, because that's what business is about. Business is supposed to be growing, And if you're in business like that, you don't say that me, I want to do it just small, 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 small. If you do it small, small, and anything happens, you're gone in the next 2 minutes. But if you start to grow, if you start to expand, if you start to employ people, if you start to grow the revenue and take more areas, you see that it becomes difficult for people to just take the business from you because it's sacrifices that you're making. And some if something is growing, it has at least a better chance of surviving and staying for a while because it is expanding. And it is difficult to just take a business with one employee like yourself. I mean, take a business off with some kind of people growing than just a business with one employee. So uh, look beyond yourself and look for examples. Position for you know in a kind of training, a kind of education that they give us, the culture. We are trained to look for job. We are trained to look for prestige in society. We are not trained, especially if you went to school as a woman, to come out and Java, when am I going to speak in G? Hey, that's tough. I don't know. I should be speaking in G. That's okay. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'll try. I'll try. When do you want me to speak in G? So there will be time that we are grown. We have been coached. We have been trained to look for job and the prestige, especially as a young woman with degree or something like that, to look at your friends working in these banks, working with this insurance company, working as a minister of state, a lawyer. Those are prestigious. Those are the things that our society respects a lot. So if you, as a young woman, you say that, okay, I want to start a business, for the first 5 years or so, if you're looking for that prestige, it will not be there, because you are going to model the idea, you are going to go through a lot of muddy situation, you are going to go through a lot of difficult situation. You may use all the money on you to start to build that business. You may not have a car, you may not have anything, and your vision is what is driving you. The energy that you have, that will be the only thing that you have. Now, if you look at your friends, they look collected, clean, everything is sharp, they look rich, and you say that you want to build a business. You really have to have a different mindset. You really have to have a different maturity. You really have to have a different worldview as a young woman or woman with a family, with wife, with husband, with children, to say that I want to build this idea that I've tested for years, for months. I want to take it forward and build it into a company. That is not something that is that much appealing to a lot of these young women. So the primary level, the beginning, it will not be attractive, it will not be nice, it will look like nasty situation that you're going through. You have to have some level of confidence, some level of self-assurance, some level of certainty at the personal level to keep going. Because if you look at your friends, you will be the odd one, and that's how entrepreneurship is the odd one. So just look at that. That you may not, and that you see, if you look at TV, if you watch the TV, if you listen to radio, you see the people that we hold so much dearly in our society. They are not the people who are trying any ideal. They're just people on TV. And we give them and we call them very successful people. And I wonder how can a country have so many successful people and still be so much backward and underdeveloping. I don't get it. Because if you have so many people who are successful and who are telling us that they at least are successful, why is it that we still have so many difficult, basic situation? Where are the successes coming from? Because it's only TV. Cook success is on TV. It's, things that are not changing the dynamics of our economy and of our prospects as a people. So if you start a business and you're employing one, two, three, four people, those are the places that we need much help, because we have to overcome poverty. We have to create opportunities. We have to develop businesses and products. We have to create competition and we have to create our own stories. That's where people around the world, they look at Africa, they look at us and say that these people are not creating anything. These people are not taking care taking advantage of the talent they have, the resources that they have. And it is people like you, people like, people who are starting businesses, young women like you, thinking all the time, innovating, coming up with something, not necessarily new, but something that they have done something around and they are building business around it. I think that those are the people that we need in big numbers than any other number. Where you are responsible for creating your own money. You're not waiting for the state to take care of you. You're not looking for grant, those kind of things that everybody, the people that we call successful in our country, a lot of them have never been, have never taken financial responsibility for anything. They are just feeding on the state, and yet they are the huge successful people that we think we have. And so there is something wrong somewhere. And if you're a young woman, you must look at these things differently. You must look at these things differently, because it will take people with that kind of characteristics that you have, the kind of personality that you have, people who can take a risk, look at it and say that I want to try, I want to give it a shot. These kind of people are the people that we need. So if you go to the market, you see women like that. If you go to even the farms, you see them like that. It is an honorable position to take, and you don't have to be apologetic. You have to just do it, because if you have the drive, nothing, because you don't create, no other freedom is created beyond being an entrepreneur and creating your own vision, because nobody controls your time and nobody controls your resources, and nobody also takes your pain and nobody takes your challenges. And so if you're a young woman and you have started something like that, or you are into business, you have to know that you have to have a different kind of thinking, a different kind of outlook of life, because everybody around you will not look like you. We have conditioned almost all of us to go and look for a place to work, and very few have had at least the thought of sitting down to create something and to build a business around it. And so if you have that, never use it as a plan B. It's actually the main plan. It's the main plan, because any idea that you have, any business idea, anything that people are ready to pay for, that you have, that is acceptable to society, can become a business if you really know what you're doing, if you really are ready, to go and study and learn, because any of them can become a business. The other thing that you need a lot of self-drive. You have to be self-driven. You cannot just be pampered. This is business. If you don't go, you can lose it. If you don't go, it can become a problem. So you have to have a robust character, and you have to be a person. Women usually don't have problem with being ethical, being honest, and so use that advantage that you have. Women, most of, at least the little I know, that majority of women, even if they are trying to do something, they are moderate. They are not as, ambitious in terms of bad things as the men. So use the character that you have, the endurance that you have. Most women, I think, have endurance. They can be patient, and that's what entrepreneurship needs. Because if you're not patient, if you don't have endurance, if you don't have the ability to stick around something, it will be difficult for the business to survive. And so I think that most women naturally have that, the ability to be patient, to grow something. That's why a woman can nurture a baby. So use that as an attribute to build that business, and be so much confident and be so much proud of the efforts that you're making in your business. You don't have to explain all the successes that you're getting, all the difficulties, to any other person, but at least you know yourself that you started with 1, now it is 2. Look at that and be encouraged by that. You have to be self-driven. You have to be self-driven, and you have to have that personality which is compassionate and kind. And that, I think, readily comes to a lot of women. It's an advantage that comes to you easily, and use it, because if you're going to build a business with a team and you have compassion, I think you have a fair chance of building a strong team, because then you can connect with people easily. That's why they say that women are far more better managers than men, because they can connect with people. That's an advantage to you as a woman. And so use that kindness. You look at the people, you see that boy is quiet, you can connect with him. You see that the young woman has something, they can feel it. Women can easily feel something like that. So use that to build quality team. But at the same time, women can also be very much pessimistic and negative. You have to look at that and reduce that pessimism and negative thinking, and become a bit more optimistic and positive in your approach to people. You cannot just be mistrustful on everybody like that. It kills the ability to develop a team. And refuse to be a stereotype. Refuse the stereotype. If you're ambitious, self-driven, they will say that this woman is Chewa. Don't worry about it. When you have succeeded, the same people who are calling you names now will go around and say that we know that you're going to do it. So don't accept the stereotype. Be driven. Look to what you can do and do it well. Because after all, nobody is responsible for your future than yourself. And so if you meet oppositions, if you meet difficulties in building your business, just know that it is like that for everybody. And it maybe it will even be double for you as a woman, because not many women may want to build a business. They may trade, but to build it in a structure form, to build it in something that can grow beyond yourself. Not many women may be looking at that, especially those who say that they have gone to school. They will be more comfortable with a very nice package like that. And so you have to have a different approach to life. You have to really think opposite what most of your friends think as a woman entrepreneur. And you have to know that it will take you a while for you to see any success at all. You have to have self-discipline in terms of the finances as well. When the business starts to make some little progress, that's not the time to go and spend that money on clothes and shoe and makeup and all the things that you would want to do. You don't have to be in haste to prove to anybody that you're succeeding. It is a business that you're building, and so it's like growing that baby. It will take a lot to grow that baby, for that baby to become an adult. And so the business will need that kind of nurturing as well. So you have to have, financial discipline, I think, comes to women readily than to men. And so you can be that much disciplined in handling the money and growing that money well, obviously, than a man. Money will stay with a woman. I think most women would that have the ability to stay with money and grow it far better than men. Men, on the other hand, easily take risk, and sometimes the risk can launch them into something big. But I think women are far better in preserving and growing gradually. And so you may not be that much comfortable with leap jump like that. You may want to be very much calculating and take it bit by bit. No problem. So far as you're making progress, go with the pace that you think you're much comfortable with. After all, the one who's jumping, when he drops, he can lose everything that he has, and that is typical with men. But for a woman can grow gradually like that, and by the time you see it, they're exploding. And so the financial discipline is that much important. It's a tip. I think it's a good thing for you to know that you cannot grow that business if you don't have that financial discipline. And most women, I think, have that, especially those who are ambitious and who want to do something. And so if you are, my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about women entrepreneurship, some tips for them. And a lot of women are considering starting businesses. Usually, friends, I want to start something on my own. If you have that desire, don't keep talking about it. Start it. After all, even if you fail, and start it small, start it gradually, start it with what you know, what you understand. What area do you think you have some kind of expertise? Start from there. What is it that you think you can do that people can pay for? Start from there and see what it becomes. But you cannot just talk about, I want to start, and 10 years you stay talking about it. It gets to a point you must go and see what happens. And the learning is in the doing. It's not just talking and doing the research and the feasibility study and all those. Now, no amount of learning comes close to the one who's doing it. Unfortunately, those who went to school are the ones with this kind of trouble. If I didn't go to school, I finished JSS, I had nobody. I have no other opportunity than to go and start a farm or stand on the roadside and sell something on my head, or go to Makola somewhere and start to do something. The problem That normally comes is with people who have all the school and who are contemplating of starting business. You need courage to step out and go and try, and be ready for the world to treat you like a man, because it's business. And so they will not be merciful to you. They will negotiate and talk to you like they're talking to men. Don't worry about it. And if you don't have much, then they throw you around. But keep your composure, keep your character, keep your ethics, and keep going bit by bit. You never know what will happen. At the same time, they're expecting you to be a good wife, a good mother, a good daughter, and it's a tough call. It is a tough call because the business for the few first years, it is tough. And at the same time, you want to keep your family happy. And if you don't have any support at all, it is crazy. It is crazy. But with proper training, proper ability to learn, to read, to research, to understand, and to build a strong network beyond yourself, maybe connecting with other women in business like yourself, you have a fair chance of not giving up, because you have to resolve that I'm not going to give up on this journey of building or becoming an entrepreneur. If the first one fails, you have to try again, try maybe on another one, but at least you can try, because it is a good thing for young women to also look at this option, and try a business. And if you're already in it, then do it, and do it well. Build it as a business, and have the desire to employ people. If it's one or two, employ, because up until that time, you still not understand a lot of things. When you start to employ one, two, three, four people, and you start to grow that ability to manage and to lead people, you may not have a clue where that thing can lead to. It doesn't matter. You can be selling tomato, you can be selling onion, you can be selling milk, it could be anything. It could be, making your own, whatever that you think, the skill that you think you have. You can, anything that is a business. You go around town, everything that you bought is somebody's business anyway. And so you could be manufacturing them or making them, or you could be trading them or selling them. Whichever way that you think you can do, they all can become business. Well, the main thing is, do you have the mindset? Do you have the thinking? Do you have the ability to, weave the business? And we say that business is beyond you. So you could also be thinking of naming the business. Think of the name of the business. Think of people that you think can help you in terms of the starting, and think of maybe registering the business and having the bank accounts for it. Don't just do it small, 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 small for years. No, at a point you must at least see it as a business that you want to develop. And if you have to maybe take some courses, take them, because you cannot do what you don't know, and you can only do as much as you know. So it's very much important, the kind of passion, the kind of desire that you have to becoming better and to learning, because you must learn. If you don't know the words, go and learn them. If the only things that you know are the celebrity, the people they call celebrity, and their pictures that they are taking and the children that they are giving birth to, the moment you start that business, you have shifted from that level. You have to learn. You have to learn about your product. You have to learn about the business. You have to learn about a lot of things, and you have to learn about money. To learn about how to lead a team. There's so many things that you have to learn, and that is a whole world of school on its own. And so you cannot be lazy-minded and think that you are going to have it easy. The only reason you will be able to keep going is because you are growing mentally, you're growing emotionally, and you're developing yourself, you're developing your skill. It's so much critical, or you give up, because the moment you relax on the learning, the difficulties may overwhelm you, and you may call it a quit. And so do that, and don't complain. Don't complain. You meet difficulties, always look at how can I overcome these difficulties. How can I overcome difficulties? How can I overcome these challenges? Always look at that, and don't feel victimized because you think you're a woman. It may appear like that. And sometimes it is like that. Sometimes you're going somewhere, and if you challenge that boss, he will tell you that, a young woman, you cannot come here and say these things like that. No, these are rare challenges where some men will feel offended for you to come and confront them. Sometimes they ask you, did you come with your brother or your husband or something like that? Those are just things that, even though they are difficult, we are going to, for a long time, you're going to deal with those things. And so find a way of handling them because they will happen, especially people from, patriarchal background. A lot of them cannot see a woman who is self-driven, who's ambitious, who wants to do something. It's difficult. And sometimes they even find it difficult to marry and things like that. But this is the world that we live in, and people have done them and done them well. So you can also do them and do them well. And so look beyond just the societal, arrangement that they have given to us, where a young woman is just looking at becoming a receptionist at a hotel or things like that, or become an actor, those kind of things. You can also innovate, start an engineering firm, technology firm, start any kind of company that you can start and keep growing them. And don't be telling us that you're a woman. You're also full human being with brains, with skill, and with strength to keep going to pursue your dream, your dream, your dream, your dream. So thank you very much for watching, and never give up on your dream, because entrepreneurship, they say, is difficult, and it is really difficult. And don't let the culture cage you like that. Try something. Maybe you have completed school all this while, you have taken application to all these companies, and nobody's listening, nobody's watching, nobody's paying attention to you. And sometimes, they're asking you to come and do things that you think are not appropriate before they give you a job. Maybe you can look at starting something. Maybe you've been doing something on your own and you are not confident in it. You think that, because I'm not finding any job somewhere, that's why I'm doing this. There was a time somebody told me that, oh, I do this side, I have a job, but I do this side. I told them, you do which side? I think the job is the side one. This one should be the main one. So the pride that you have in that idea, that because you can meet a lot of people, they are doing something, you can see that this can easily become a business, but the confidence is not there. The parents are telling you to stop it and go and look for work, or go and look for school to go, or go and travel. Those are the normal things that you're going to hear. The thing about family is that anything that will make you great, most likely the families will fight them. So don't, almost all the time, people who have become great, most often at the beginning, families fought their greatness. And so if you are trying something and you are doing it, if you pay attention, you give passion to it, you focus, you have no idea what it can become. But don't expect everybody to agree and support you, because entrepreneurship is not something that people really want to give it support anyway. Not from the beginning. Not from the beginning. Especially when you don't know what you're doing yourself. So if nobody's giving you attention and encouragement, know that you can encourage yourself by the training that you give to yourself. The studies, create an environment where you are always encouraging and learning yourself, becoming better continuously, because the rate of maturity is directly linked to the rate of learning, knowledge acquisition, practice and trying. Because the same person that somebody knew 1 year ago, you can compress so much learning into time that 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, when they get to know you, you know so much. So the things that you thought could break you now, those things, you look at them and they cannot break you, because you have grown. You have expanded your horizon. You have stretched your knowledge. And so, a young woman, that is what you have to do. Check your time. Develop yourself. Read a lot. Establish yourself. Look for data. Look for information. Build. Learn about this business that you're doing. Learn about the entrepreneurship that you're doing. Don't be hooked up to this Instagram, and build a business. It's not just taking pictures and putting them on social media and think that that's business. You want to build an infrastructure. You want to build an infrastructure. You want to build a business that brings in rare revenue. And it is doable. You can do it with pride. You can learn it and do it well if you have the right information, you have the discipline and the focus. Say that I will do it. And don't be telling us that you're a woman, you're a woman, you're a woman, you're a woman. No man wants a lazy woman, not the great ones. And so prove something, and don't use your womanhood as an excuse. And there is more. I would want to see my girl, my daughter, try an idea that she has. So if if she has a product idea, if she has a business idea, she should be able to try it and hopefully make it work. And if it doesn't work, she can try again. She can try again because it builds your personality, builds your confidence, makes you feel like you can also turn something around. And you never know when it becomes successful what advantage, what leverage, what platform that can give you. And in terms of financial future, you never know. If you're successful, you can do anything, and it's fulfilling as well. It's fulfilling. You can look at it and say, I picked this business, and now this has become a big business. You never know. And if you're able to employ 1, 2, 3 people, that is a good achievement at that point. And you don't know what it can become as well. You have no idea what it can become as well. So thank you very much for watching, and maybe you may tell a friend or a daughter about if you have a daughter, if you have a sister, if you have a wife, if you have somebody who is doing business, and you need to encourage them and you don't know what to say, maybe you can share the video with them and tell them somebody is trying to say something, maybe it may make sense to you. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.